day 3 is squats. So squats is one of those things, if you go into the home workouts, you've obviously been seeing loads of lately on Facebook, YouTube or Instagram, 9 out of 10 of the leg exercises will be squats, which is great. Squats are a brilliant exercise, but if you're not doing the exercises from the first 2 days, the hip extension and the leg curl ones, then squats can cause more harm than good in some cases, because they can make your hip flexors even tighter and make things more imbalanced in your legs, which isn't ideal. But if you are following the advice and doing your hip extension and your leg curls, you get so much more out of squats, because they are the king of exercises, and most exercises for the lower body will resemble some kind of squat. So I could call these knee flexion exercises, but squats is far easier, and I could put all your split squats, your double leg squats and your lunges and your step ups all into the bracket of squats, because they're where you're bending your knees. So first of all, to move into the gym, what you'd normally be using is your hack squat, which would be far more quad emphasis squat and really burn the front of the legs. Then your barbell squat, which is a favourite of mine. I do loads and loads of barbell squatting and always have, and find it fantastic for my legs. And then the third one there is a leg press. So even if you go high and wide and it's less of a quad emphasis, you're still really squatting when you're leg pressing. You're still using the whole of your leg, and it's still a pushing movement as opposed to a hip extension. So now for the quarantine strength training, so the at-home exercises. So the first one I'm going to go through, and there's a lot to go through today because there's so many movements you can do at home that are squats. The first one that I'm going to go through with you is goblet squats. So goblet squat is where you hold the weight at the front. So you'll see I'm holding the weight at the front here using the water bottles. Heels are elevated on a book. The book, you can use anything to elevate your heels. The book is just to give an example that there's something easy in your house definitely you can use for elevating your heels. Really focus on depth, slow tempo, 1, 2, 3 on the way down, chest upright. And there's 12 kg and 12 bottles of water, so if you're doing 10 to 20 reps of 12 kg with a real slow tempo, that's really strong, and there's plenty of progression and toughness in that if you're not using that movement already. Real low, push the knees forward past the toes. I won't go into that debate now in this video. Push the knees forward past the toes. The second squat is the foam roller squat, so put it against your lower back, hold the weight out in front again, and slowly lower yourself down. Really push the knees forward again, get real low to the ground and stand up straight at the top, but don't lock out the legs. On the goblet squat or the foam roller squat, I wouldn't lock out the legs because you're trying to keep tension and make the exercise as hard as possible. So again here, 10 to 20 reps, if you're able to do this with the 12 kg, that's pretty strong on the legs, and that's a pretty good workout, especially after doing the single leg squats first, which is what I'd recommend in home workouts, doing the single leg stuff first. So nice and slow on the way down, and stand up straight but not fully straight. Keep tension on the quads. So exercise number 3 is split squats. So split squats, another massive favourite of mine. Now you can do split squats in so many different ways, but I personally really like the pushing the knee forward, having the front foot elevated or front foot flat like is shown here in the video, because of how much it strengthens the adductors on the inside of the legs and protects the groins, and the big stretch it puts on your hip flexors. So get real down low, keep the front heel on the ground, keep the back heel off the ground, 3 seconds down and stand up straight at the top, 3 seconds down, stand up straight at the top. Keep the back heel off the ground for the full 10 reps, keep the front heel on the ground for the full amount of reps. Okay, so the fourth exercise is an exercise group, it's lunges. So there's 3 types of lunges that I'm going to show you in the video, and they all are different in their own way. So first of all, there's alternate lunges. So we are going forward with either leg at a time. So you're standing in the one spot, but each time you go forward, you're going back to that spot and switching legs every time. That's the first type of lunge. The second type of lunge is a walking lunge, so striding forward. I prefer big steps on this, but you can do it with smaller steps again. Powering through or driving through your heel and standing up straight into the next rep. Don't take small breaks. Keep as much tension as you can on the legs as possible, especially while you can't use that extra weight. Big steps forward though, and drive off the heels and lift yourself. Third type of lunge is the reverse lunge, something I've been using a lot more the last 2 years, and I really find it a great exercise. Reverse lunges emphasize the glutes a lot more than the quads, than the other type of lunges and split squats I've shown you. It doesn't make them better exercises per se, it just means they emphasize the glutes more, which I've been really enjoying implementing in my own training and my clients recently. Big step backwards and drive forward, and you can see there's more hip extension and less knee flexion, which makes it more of a glute exercise. So number 5 is another favorite of mine, Bulgarian split squats. So Bulgarian split squat is just the split squat version with the back foot elevated. Like your reverse lunges, this is more glute focused. You drive through the heel, hold the weight out in front, or you can hold 2 water bottles on the side. But if you can even do this body weight, 10-15 reps either side with perfect technique, driving through the heel, that's pretty strong in itself, just body weight. And then moving on to adding your 6 kg water bottle and then your 12 kg pack of water bottles. That's very strong for a Bulgarian split squat. And finally, the last exercise or exercise group is the step up. So there's 3 types of step ups I'm going to show. So the step up is the forgotten exercise of so many gym goers. It's so effective, it's so simple to do, but it's very, very hard, and it has a big carryover to so many other exercises. The first one I'm going to show you is the usual one, or the one that I normally start people with, which is the side step up. So toe pointing straight forward, open it up a few degrees, then you want to keep your full, say if your left foot is on the box like in the video, you want to keep your full right foot in front of the left foot at all times, and really bend the knee, drive through the heels. This is an excellent knee rehab exercise. It's used for knee rehab a lot after cruciate ligaments and things like that. But I would use it as a strength exercise in general. Just because you haven't injured your knees doesn't mean you won't get plenty of benefit out of step ups. The second type of step up is the front step up. So you stand facing forward, and then you slowly lower yourself down to the ground, pushing the knee as far forward as you can and the leg forward in front of you, and then driving backwards. So it's very similar to the first step up, except instead of going to the side, you're pushing straight down in front of you and back up. I find this one absolutely brilliant for anyone who's had trouble with their knees, whether that's through sports or just generally through old age and wear and tear. If your faulty knees, step-ups are such a good exercise, and they really help you move and develop in your squats. So this is the perfect time to work on exercises like these that are almost like rehab, prehab style exercises, but you can still get really strong in them. And finally, the third type of step up is your high box step up. So I just have one box on top of the other here. I'm sure you'll be able to find something at home that will resemble this. So the main thing with high box step ups, again, because of the higher angle, they're more hip extension and not as much knee flexion, but you still will feel them really work the quads, but definitely the glutes a little more than the lower down step ups. So you want to step forward good and high and drive through the heel with the top foot. The obvious mistake with high box step ups that people make, and step ups in general, but particularly the high box ones, is that they jump with their bottom foot and they don't stand with their top foot. The top foot is the one on the box is the one that's doing the work. So whichever foot is on the box, you want to be pressing, driving as hard as you can through the box with that foot, and you don't want to be jumping or bouncing with the other one that's not doing the work. Okay, so that's video number 3 and exercise group number 3, the squats or knee flexion exercises. I've given you 10 types of squats there. While we're all still training at home, these will give you great progress. So that's 3 lower body days done now, your leg curl, hip extension and squats. Tomorrow we're going moving on to upper body. So as usual, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow with another group of exercises.